Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ayuti Pani and my friend is Azhara Septa Soleha. We are from Group 2. We will explain about the concept of adapting materials. The first explained by me, okay. Definition of adaptation material is material adaptation refers to implementing multiple strategies to make textbook more effective and flexible. In my opinion, it means that material adaptation is a strategy which is there is a process, namely change or adjustment to the material to be taught in the realistic classroom. The process of change or adjustment to the material must be adjusted in the realistic phase by teacher in dealing with students in the relatively dynamic classroom. Change this material can be done either by modifying it or deleting it or rearranging it and or expanding the material itself as need. Okay, for the next is about the context of adapting materials. The context of adapting material here, that the material that has been adjusted according the students or the classroom situation is not to be permanent materials. Why is that? Because the circumstance of students or classroom situation is not static but relatively dynamic. So it can be concluded the adapting materials are adapting teaching materials in the existing context so that the teaching materials to be confined are in accordance with certain conditions in the classroom, so that the teaching and learning process in the classroom can be run in harmony between the material and the needed of the students or the classroom situation. Okay, for the next is the reason of adapting materials. There are several reasons why adapting material must be do or needs, such as the contents of or discussion of the material to be taught not according to the student's level of proficiency, or the material is not suitable with time of learning and teaching process. And next is the contents of the materials is not suitable with age or culture and also intellectual levels of students. Okay, that is all from me, and for the next explain will be explained by Azhara Septa Soleha. Azhara, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Azhara Septa Soleha and I'm from Group 2. I want to give explanations about adapting materials. What is adapting materials? Yeah, adapting material is making change to existing teachings materials in order to make material suitable for certain students. There's a procedure and principle for adapting materials, such as first is adding, the second is reducing. The third is deleting or omitting. The fourth is modifying. The fifth is extending. And the last is reordering. So I want to give explanations about them. The first is adding. Yeah, in adding, in additions, the notion of adding is straightforward, then implying that materials are supplemented by putting into them. So, kalau dalam bahasa Indonesianya, kita bisa menambahkan materi baru ke buku pedoman. Misalnya buku bahasa Inggris, dan di dalam buku bahasa Inggris itu dibutuhkan skill menulis, membaca, dan ternyata menyimak. Tapi di buku pedoman tersebut gak ada materi menyimak gitu. Nah, kita bisa menambahkan sebagai guru, menambahkan materi menyimak tadi ke buku pedoman tersebut. Itu untuk bagian adding-nya. is deleting or omitting. That's deleting and omitting is like opposite from adding. Material can be taken out from and then replaced with something new. Jadi kalau dalam bahasa Indonesianya adding sama deleting atau omitting itu selalu bersama gitu. Nah, jadi kalau deleting itu menghapus atau mengurangi si materinya. Misal ketika ada buku pedoman dan itu memfokuskan kepada kemampuan mendengarkan, tapi di situ juga ada kemampuan membaca, dan itu kita bisa menghapus kemampuan bacanya aja gitu. Karena kita cuma butuh skill untuk mendengarkan gitu. Jadi bisa di deleting gitu. Itu untuk bagian delete. Next is reordering. Dalam bahasa Indonesia, reordering itu artinya menyusun kembali. Reordering is the procedure refers to the possibility of putting the parts of a course book in a different order, so in different way. Jadi kita bisa menyusun kembali materi-materinya ke course book atau ke pedoman tadi, dan itu bisa dilakukan dengan cara yang berbeda. We have to find a uniqueness to reordering materi-materi yang bakal kita masukin ke course book. Itu reordering. Next is what's that? Reducing ya. Reducing if there's materials no needed. Jadi ketika ada materi yang nggak dibutuhkan, ya kita nggak bisa pakai itu gitu. Itu untuk reducing. If there's material that's not needed. Next is modifying. So we can imagine that the teacher have to modify the materials from the course book. I think like change the process to change something to improve in order to make more acceptable for the students. Jadi di memodifikasi ini gimana supaya murid-murid itu bisa lebih mudah menangkap materi pelajaran di buku pedoman tersebut. Jadi gimana caranya untuk dimodifikasi seperti itu. Okay, thank you so much. There's an explanation from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.